Hey guys, welcome to another speed build. Today, you can see it from the title, we are building a Hobbit house. And I know that's super duper cliche, but it is something that ever since I've seen the first Lord of the Rings, I've just been so fascinated with. It's actually, and really truly is my dream house to have a Hobbit house. And so I thought building one as close as I could in The Sims with the abilities of the game would be a really fun and unique experiment challenge for me. So I started off by just laying a rectangular base for the house. I didn't plan any specific size. I just decided I would work with what I ended up with. And then after I laid the foundation and the walls, I started working on the terrain and just raising the terrain up on the the two sides, the back, and then wrapping it around the front some. And so this took me a little while. I wanted to go slow at it, make sure I got it just right. So I worked on the two sides first, and then I started working on the back. Like I said, this is really and truly is my dream house, but of course I would want it in the side of a hill like they do it in The Hobbit. Of course, you can't build into the side of a hill and you can't have terrain go over the house. So I did it to the best of my ability, and I know there's probably other ways to try and do that, but this is the way I ended up going with. So I wanted all of the walls to be made out of rock, and I wanted the floor to be made out of a medium brown, just to give those really earthy, natural elements to the build. I didn't start off by putting a roof. I ended up putting grass, and then I enlarged rocks and put them all around the top. I do go in afterwards and put a roof on it, but I wanted to start off by doing these details to make it have the appearance of being underground. And so I tried to use as many different sizes and shapes and positions, and doing some rocks a little bit bigger, some rocks a little bit smaller, just to get them all to fit around the edges. I don't do them across the front. I just do them along the sides and the back, just like the terrain is along the sides and the back. I wanted it to have that consistency throughout. And I spend quite a bit of time working on the outside. I wanted it to look just right, and I wanted to start there and finish by doing on the inside, because there's certain elements of it that I really wanted and that I really wanted to implement. Of course, there's not a very good way to have the round doors, and so I didn't put those in, but I knew there was round windows, so I could put round windows. I can make the front of it kind of look rounded with the way the earth comes up around the sides. I also wanted different grasses. I tried raising the height of the wall, but I didn't like how it looked, so I took it back and went back to how I had it. Looking through the doors, I did find one that arched across the top. Again, it's not a round door, but I felt like it suited the build the best. And then I put the round windows on either side to balance it out. The next thing I started working on was some of the landscaping. I wanted it to have that very earthy garden look with lots of different grasses and plants, and I do end up putting a nice little picket fence and a stone, like a gravelly walkway coming out, and I really just take my time working on the front. Of course, I tried to put a fence outside of the area that I was allowed, and I didn't want the fence to go around the whole house. I thought that would be too much, so I had just this little fenced off area in the front, and I would have liked a small fence that took up 2 tiles, but I didn't find anything that worked, so I ended up going back to the first fence that I tried, just having it off center some, which bugs me a little bit, but it'll be okay. I tried putting hydrangeas, but I found these purple patch of flowers that I liked better, so I ended up taking them out so that it all just seems to tie together better. And again, it just draws your attention into the front of the house. Working on the top, I did want some grasses, so I enlarged some grasses and put one on each of the back corners. And I also put some tall little, I'm going to call it field grass. Almost looks like little wheat stalks. And I tried out a few different things, but I really just wasn't too big of a fan of anything else on the outside. So the very first thing I do on the inside is I just place 6 lights in there just so I can see what I'm doing and get started. Of course, I'll need to add lights later as I add walls and reposition them, but this was just so I could see and kind of have a basic layout. I wasn't sure how I was going to do the house. Since the door was right in the middle, I figured a split floor plan would be good, with the kitchen along the middle, but on the back, and then bedrooms coming off of each side. And again, with the cabinets, I went with really earthy tones. For all of the appliances, I just put the highest quality ones in. I don't really think it matters, but that's just what I wanted. After I get the kitchen laid out, I make sure and put a coffee pot, a fruit bowl, coffee cups. Just make sure it has some nice accessories. I try putting half walls on either end, but I end up going back later and adding full walls since I decided to put bedrooms on each side of the kitchen. Again, still at this point, I really wasn't sure how I wanted the layout to be. I just knew that's where I wanted the kitchen, and the dining room I figured would be best just a little bit away from that, in between the kitchen and the entryway. I wanted a larger table, one where you could entertain a good number of people. Hobbits love to entertain. I didn't want chairs on the end. And then also I put an alcohol cabinet, again, for entertainment, knives hanging on the wall, pots and pans hanging on the wall. It just gave it the aesthetic that I was looking for. I also wanted a doormat at the front. I don't normally do that in my Sims builds, but I really wanted it in this one. I just felt like that was a good way to mark the foyer, however you say it, in the entryway, and have a plant on each side. Just gave it that nice, balanced aesthetic. Again, I just started off with the kitchen and the dining room in the middle to give it that balanced look. And then on each side, the master bedroom and then the other bedroom on the other end, they are the same size. So I'm working on the master bedroom now. And each bedroom is going to have a bathroom, a full bathroom. And then this bedroom here on the right, it's going to have 2 twin beds in it. Now it took me, so at first I did start off trying to make 2 bedrooms with a shared bathroom, but one of the rooms was going to be way too small, and so I ended up taking out those middle walls and just making it one room after I look at the layout of that and realized that it just wouldn't work that way. it wouldn't be feasible to try and put 2 bedrooms in that and a bathroom in that small area. I work on the right bedroom first, although I don't remember if I do the bedrooms first or if I do the living area. I do the living area, so I decide on the right side of the house in the front is going to be the living area. Again, still going with greens and browns. I thought this color green couch and chair set went really well with the cabinets. And then the entertainment center I end up picking, I feel matches nicely with the table and the floor. And I do put a rug just to break up that area. And the rug complements the entryway rug in colors. I also add a bookshelf. Again, it's brown, just in the corner in the nice little living area, and that just breaks it off and gives it its area. I wanted a coffee table, and I would have liked a more rounded one, but not completely circular, but I went with this brown one. It seemed to be the most fitting. Now we're coming over to the left, and for a minute I thought about putting an additional bedroom there, but that would have just been too big, and then we wouldn't have an office space and a space for extracurricular type skill building activities. So the desk is brown and green, the chair is green. I put an easel in here, and then I also wanted some type of musical instrument, and so I felt that a piano would fit nicely here. It seemed appropriate for the Hobbit lifestyle that they would want to play a piano. In my mind anyways, that's what they would, out of our options, that would be the most realistic. And I went with the toilet and tub from the vampire pack. It just seemed more old school and rustic to me. I tried really hard to get the bathroom to fit in that little 4 square area, but it just didn't work for me. I even tried taking the tub out and putting a shower in, but again, it just wasn't working. And so I do end up putting the tub back in and making the bathroom 3 tiles by 2 tiles. And it ends up working nice. Like I said, I tried really, really hard to get 2 tiles by 2 tiles to work. I even considered just putting the shower and the toilet in there without a sink, but that just grossed me out, the thought of it. So I decided with the 3 by 2 would be the most appropriate, and it would get everything to fit. Now it does throw the room off balance. There's 2 tiles on one end and 3 on the other, and so I decided to put the door on the side that has 3 tiles to give like the bed spaces equal amount, because you'll have those tiles by the door as a walkway. So the next thing I put are the beds, and I felt like this style of bed had the best green options and had ones that complemented, had the browns and the greens, and it had a nice rustic look. I also found some nice green dressers that again tied into everything. With the bedside lighting, I did these brownish lamps. Of course, I put them through the dressers, but I wanted it to look like they were coming out of the wall. And I just really liked how those looked. Since this would be rooms for children, I did put a tablet on each nightstand, and so each child that could occupy that room would have their own space, even though they shared a room and a bathroom. Next, I start working on the master bedroom. Again, it's 3x2, and I put it in a different area of the bedroom just for spacing purposes. And I put the door on this other corner, so arranging the bathroom was a little bit different, but I used the same tub, the same toilet, and the same sink setup as well. I just wanted everything to match and flow and go with the theme. Just like I wanted all of the walls in the house to be the rock and all of the floors to be the wood. I went with the lighter green for the master bed just because I felt like it brightened up the space, since some of the other spots in the house seemed a little bit darker. I also put a green dresser in the corner, and I also did the lamps just like I did in the kids' bedrooms, except there wasn't room for nightstands, so I just left them coming out of the wall. I did consider changing the piano, so you'll see me put 2 pianos in there and kind of see which one fits the aesthetic better, and I go with the one that I had originally. And so that was pretty much it, but I felt like that other window was missing something, so I added a chess table. And that just adds a really nice other thing for the family area, and it fills that space nicely, and it doesn't feel like space is being wasted. I felt like there needed to be something on the table, and what better thing to put on the table in a Hobbit hole than a tea set. So it took me a minute to find the tea set, but I finally found it and put it in the middle of the table. So when you're entertaining, your guests can have tea available for them. And I felt like the Willow Creek mailbox was the most fitting for the style of house and the theme that we were going for. I realized we forgot a trash can, so I just threw the wood one from Solani in there. And so then I go back to working on the outside. And I stopped recording and I forgot to record, so you can see I added some more plants and the roof on there. So now we're going to do the tour of the house as if you're coming in. And so you come in, first thing you see is the dining area and the kitchen. It's right in front of you. It's a nice welcoming area. U-shaped kitchen. You have stuff to entertain with. You have alcohol, you have coffee, you have pots and pans. You have everything you need to entertain all of your Hobbit guests. And again, all the natural colors tying in together just gave it that real earthy feel. Then moving to the left, we have the desk area with the skill building items, the art, and the piano. And then we turn and go all the way to the right where we have the living area, chess table, and bookshelf in the corner. And I really like how that bookshelf is in the corner. I wish they had corner shelves in The Sims. I think that'd be really cool. But instead I just had to cheat it to where it would fit in that corner. So then we go over to the twin bedroom. Each of the beds are a little bit different. They give each of the kids their own space while still fitting with the theme and tying everything together, and then they have the shared bathroom. The one thing this house doesn't really have is a guest bathroom, so they would probably either have to go into the kids' room or into the master bedroom to use the bathroom if you had guests over. That is the one thing this house doesn't have. But then you go over to the left corner of the house, and then you have the master bedroom and master bath. And if you'll notice, I put the doors off of the kitchen. I thought that just gave it more space for the living area and the I'm going to call it the office area. And so this is a full rounded view of the house after it's all said and done, I really think this build turned out nice. And so that's pretty much all I've got for you guys today. I think I'm going to wrap this video up here, showing you guys just the outside after I added those other few details that I added when I forgot recording. So anyways, that's all I've got for you guys today. I love you. I'll see you guys next time.